What's up, y'all? It's Miles the Millennial.
And it's your boy, Rex Howard Jr.
And this is Let's Talk Like Men, the podcast where we have real conversations about real topics, providing real advice to men like you everywhere. And we're back again with another episode. This is episode number 80, man. That's a beautiful number. Rex, what does that sound like to hear? Episode 80, bro.
Sounds like maturing.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's something I'm extremely grateful for. To go from the first concept in episode 1
to
episode 80, to know that we've had to brainstorm, we've had to live life, we had to connect with God, we had to take some L's, we had to be on the same page for 80 episodes.
Yeah.
That's nuts, dog. So it's ultimately it's a blessing, and it sounds amazing to me. What does it sound like to you?
Sounds like intentionality.
Yeah.
Right? Sounds like intentional nonstop growth, man. I feel like to get to this point, to just get to 80 episodes, period, that's, if you were doing this once a week, that's already a year, close to a year and a half, right? Worth of episodes. But we've had breaks in between there. We've had life go on in between there. To continuously come back and come back stronger and build and build and build. That's a lot of small acts of intention.
Yeah.
Right? That actually made me think about something. A clip that I'm posting today on the page was you talking about how we decided when we were on the trip that we weren't going to go to the club.
Yeah.
And you were saying how, once you pop bottles, then you invite attention. And then once attention comes, then the women come. Then now you're putting yourself in a situation where you got options and you were like, I don't want to give myself any options.
Yeah.
And I thought about it when I was posting that clip. I was like, what am I going to title this clip? And what I ended up putting was something along the lines of like, being a faithful man is an intentional decision.
That's good.
Right? Like, a lot of people think that being faithful is just something organic and natural that every man has. Some men, maybe, I guess. All I know is every man I know, we struggle with the level of temptation. Our eyes, our thoughts can betray us. Yeah. Right? And so in order to be able to defeat that, you have to make intentional decisions, even in the smallest things. So to get to 80 episodes, it makes me think of intentionality, bro.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling good, bro. I'm feeling very good, bro. God has been bringing some beautiful things to fruition in my life, and I feel like I'm on a pathway of a breakthrough in the most godly way possible, bro. And I'm at peace with however long the journey takes, because God has continuously shown me that His hand is over my life.
Yeah.
So I feel great, man. How are you feeling today?
I'm tired, dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm tired. I think it's the best way to put it. I've been working a lot, moving a lot, planning a lot, traveling a lot. I'm tired. I'm blessed. Had a conversation with my guys this morning about gratitude.
Yeah.
So actually, I'll ask that question to you before we actually get started. What's something that you're grateful for in this season?
Something I'm grateful for in this season. I'm grateful for patience, bro.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for patience. I'm grateful for situations that have forced me to be patient, because I prayed to God about it. That was one of the things I prayed to God. I'm like, God, I need to increase my patience. Right. I did this thing with my boys, and I was like, let's work through the fruits of the Spirit. And I'm like, man, one of the fruits of the Spirit is patience. And when I was thinking about it, I'm like, man, that's an area that I definitely need some growth in, because I'm patient in general, but I'm not patient when I think people should know better or should do better. And it has a lot to do with control.
Yeah.
Right? The need to control the situation. I feel like things should be a certain way by now because of whatever factor. And I'm grateful for patience, because patience requires my surrender.
Yeah.
It requires me to remove myself from playing the person of God and playing control, and to just say things will be how they're going to be when they're supposed to be it.
Yeah.
Can you be at peace with it? Can you wait? Can you sit in this thing and still show up with good cheer, good kindness, good love, good self-control? Can you still display good fruit even in the midst of waiting? So I'm grateful for patience, man.
That's actually really good.
What about you?
I think I'm grateful for an able body and capacity.
Yeah.
Right? The fact that our jobs require us to move.
Yeah.
right? Whether we're on the pod, traveling to trips, being on the stage, being in the office. Our job requires us to move, and our in order to keep our bodies fit, it requires a different level
Yeah.
of complex movements. So I'm grateful for an able body. I'm grateful for God's ability to trust me with the capacity.
Yeah.
Because, when I sit and I talk to people about the things that I'm working on or working through or just completing, they're like, bro, where do you find the time?
Yeah.
And it's like sometimes I don't have an answer to that, dog. It's just, but things get done. So I'm grateful for capacity. And if I had to be extra, I'm grateful for our platform. Because our last 3 videos randomly in the last couple hours just kind of went viral.
Yeah.
And people are getting new information. People are seeing things for the first time. People are being challenged. People are commenting. People are, their perspectives are being shifted. And when God is incorporated into our videos, seeds are being planted.
Absolutely.
And the reach is far greater than, I could ever imagine us having, especially starting our platform, years ago.
Yeah.
And we got 15 to 20 likes max.
Telling you.
So to know that this is where we are now, and the last 2 months we've averaged 1 million views on our Instagram platform consistently. So our message
is reaching.
God's word is being reaching, and then the development, the process, how to become is getting out there. So I'm extremely grateful for that.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah.
God is doing a great work in us, man. He's maturing us. And that brings us to the topic of today's episode, which is the characteristics of a mature man.
Yeah.
Right? We did some characteristics. We did a characteristics series probably about 1.5 years ago, I'd say, where we went through the characteristics of different things in men. But I had a question. I was like, Rex, have we ever just talked about what maturity actually is? Have we broken this thing down to a level where anybody can understand it?
Yeah.
And we make it plain and simple. So Rex was like, no, we haven't. So we're going to talk about that today. And I'm excited for this conversation because I think language is a very important thing.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is we say a lot of things all the time. And there's a lot of buzzwords that get thrown around, especially in the self-help, personal development, Christian walk. There are these words that get thrown around all the time.
Yeah.
Maturity, right? Emotions, all these different things, they get thrown around, emotional intelligence. But what does it actually mean to be mature?
Yeah.
Can you spell this out for me? And so I really want to go into some characteristics so that way people can evaluate their own lives. The Bible says, let a man examine himself.
Yeah.
Right. So I want to break this down so that every single man can be able to examine themselves and say, hey, am I showing up as a mature man in this area, but not in this area? Where am I immature at? And how can I grow and develop in these areas?
That's good. And I'm going to address the question that you asked so y'all can keep this your mind wrapped around this. I asked Miles, I said, yo, let me know, what question are we answering today? Mm-hmm. He said, what does it mean to be a mature man, and how does that show up in real life for a grown man? So that's the perspective that we are approaching on today. So buckle up, fellas.
Let's go. Let's get it. Without further ado, man.
Let's talk like men.
All right. So you want to go first or me?
Well, go ahead, crank yourself, brother.
All right, bet. So my point number 1, the first characteristic of a mature man is that a mature man knows when he needs to get out of the way and when he needs to let another person lead him.
That's good.
Every leader needs a leader.
Yeah.
Right? Every therapist needs a therapist.
Yeah.
Every father needs somebody to father them. Right? Everybody needs somebody to lead them along the pathway, because once you get to the place where nobody is over you, your growth is now completely dependent on you. Right? Somebody asked me a question. They're like, man, if a man is at the end of his capacity, how does he get more? How does he do more? I said, he got to get around people who are more. Right? He has to go around men with more capacity than him. He has to be exposed to men with more to pour in because they have an expanded capacity. So guess what they can do? They can pour from their overflow, and that overflow can then fill you up and increase your capacity.
Yep.
But he has to be around people that are more than him. Mature men realize I can't do this thing on my own.
Yeah.
And if it's solely dependent on me, the growth that would take place is going to be very slow and stunted versus if I get around some people that can lead me, I can go to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Right. And then on top of it, when I say getting out of the way, some of you are not the right people in your family to be managing the finances.
That's good.
Right. Some of y'all are horrible with your finances, and your wife is better with the money than you. She has self-control. She's not going to go spend that money every single place. She knows how to invest and to save something. Maybe you need to hand that check over to her so that she can manage and budget y'all finances. But because you're a man, you won't do that. Right? Some of y'all are not the best people when it comes to disciplining and knowing how to deal with emotional circumstances with your children. Your wife might have a sounder head than you. Sometimes you need to defer that to her and say, babe, I don't necessarily know how to deal with this situation, or this situation with my son is triggering me. I see this a lot with fathers and sons. There gets to a point where that tension is getting high between the father and the son, especially when that boy is in his teenage years, in the early 20s, and he's smelling himself, right? Now, there's a needed aspect of that. That tension is needed. There needs to be that male presence there. But sometimes as a man, we let our pride and our ego and that challenge between us and our son get in the way of what our son actually needs.
Yeah.
And it takes your wife being able to sit there and say, what he really needs is your love. He doesn't need your pain, your toughness right now. You have to know when it's time to defer to another person and when you need to get out of the way, because one of the best characteristics of a leader and a mature man is a man that knows where his weaknesses are and is able to say, hey, where I'm weak, this person is stronger. I need to defer to their leadership while I'm developing and trying to grow in this area.
Absolutely. And to add to that, acknowledging the fact that you're weaker in these areas doesn't make you less of a man.
So good, bro.
It doesn't make you less of a man. We attach weakness to like vulnerability to like a little boy almost.
Yeah.
Like incompetence or like I'm incapable of doing something. No, every weak area you have can be strengthened when you are attached or when you submit to the right thing.
Yes.
So there is a lot of people that will listen and it was like, well, as a man, I'm supposed to be able to listen, dog. As a man, you can learn anything.
For sure.
But to think that it's just innate in you to know how to manage, to know how to steward, to know how to do X, Y, and Z without properly being taught, without being under the submission of somebody, without being trained by somebody. You didn't learn how to, you may slow down, Rex. If you're fast, but you have terrible technique, you become a lot faster with the proper technique.
For sure.
Right. And that's the same thing when it comes to with life and the money aspect. I have a client right now that's their family's $100,000 in debt and it has nothing to do with their house loan.
Wow.
This is all credit cards.
Wow.
And I said, who's been in charge of the finances? He says, I have. I said, okay. I said, and why? He was like, well, I just feel like I'm the most fit for it. I was like, well, facts.
Yeah.
Shows that you're not.
Yeah.
Because when he told me the number, I was like, surely this is what you have left on your mortgage.
Man. No, home's paid off, actually.
Yeah, so with that being the case, and I said, hey, it's okay to allow your wife to lead in this area if she's more equipped for it.
Yep.
Because when you are putting yourself in a position to lead the family this way and the leadership hasn't been leading the way it's supposed to, now your wife feels a certain type of way. There's a level of scarcity that she has. There's fear, there's anxiety that she has about the finance. She doesn't want to plan certain things or buy certain things because she doesn't want to make things worse.
Yep.
But you will.
Yep.
Right? So it's okay for you to be able to switch around. So back to your point, I think you made a very valid point by saying,
man, and there's resentment that's going to build up there. Because she's going to sit there and say, we're in this situation because you refuse to heed my advice.
Yep.
You refuse to let me step up in this area where I actually can do this job better than you can. Because hearing that somebody can do something better than you in your own home feels like an attack when it's not. It's a part of partnership. And to something that you said that I think we really need to talk about, the word should and suppose. are some of the biggest things that get in the way of effective leadership and effective partnership. Because when people say you should and you're supposed to, what we're doing is we're projecting an expectation onto people without an understanding of how they've either been trained, what they've been shown, and what they've experienced.
Yeah.
Right? And if you carry it on yourself, what it's going to become is you're going to always feel like you're supposed to, or you should be able to do things that, bro, you're a human. You have to be developed to do these things.
Yep.
You see men, oh, I'm supposed to be able to make X amount of dollars or do this job do this job this particular way, or be successful in this form or fashion, or be this fit, or be this mentally able to think this way. And it's like, bro, no, you didn't get to the point that you are right now by what you should or you were supposed to do. You got here by way of experience. You got here by way of what you went through and what you saw. So how do you think you're going to get out of it?
Yeah.
Not by continuously saying, I'm supposed to, or I should. You get out of it by the same way. You're going to have to get around some development that exposes you, that gives you different experiences, that trains you in order for you to become. Life is about becoming, not about shoulding, not about supposed to. Right. And then in partnership, it gets in the way, because then if you look at your partner, or your partner looks at you and say he should or she should, they're supposed to. Now you're putting something on people in the same way that they may not have been exposed to.
Yeah.
And now you're going to constantly look at them and you're going to condemn them. You're going to constantly look at them and you're going to resent them. You're going to constantly look at them, and it's going to get in the way of them having grace given to them by you, because you think they're supposed to be here. Who said that?
Yeah.
Did God say they're supposed to be here right now, or did you say that? Did God say that they're supposed to be leading in this way, or did you say that? Did the world tell you that your man's supposed to be doing X, Y, Z because he's 30 years old?
Yeah.
What if at 30 years old, God came into that man's life and said, I'm about to flip this whole thing upside down.
Yeah.
I got to rebuild this from the ground up.
Yeah.
All that money you're making, it's about to go.
Yeah.
That job that you have, I'm about to redirect you in a whole different way. You want a man of God.
Yeah.
But what if God flips it? But you're talking about what he's supposed to and what he should be doing. And that goes for the men to the women as well. So supposed to and should get in the way of effective leadership and effective partnership.
Yeah. And supposed to, should do, that's also a thinking error too.
So good.
So, man, okay. I have a lot of points. Actually,
let's go. Me too. So let's hit it.
We're going to run it. Maturing means your response time is different and it becomes more strategic. Right? Everything don't need a response.
That's good.
Maturing is realizing that sometimes listening is a lot better than responding, a lot better than reacting. Somebody may have a lot that they want to say to get off their chest, and you may never know the reason for it, right? But if you don't listen, you won't ever find out the reason for it.
Yeah.
If you don't listen, you don't get to understand the things underneath what they're actually saying.
Yeah.
You don't get to understand and feel the pain that they may be feeling or may be experiencing. Right? Think about an immature person. The minute you say something they disagree with, they want to respond.
Yeah.
They want to clap back. They want to attack. Right? Or they'll completely shut down and check out of the conversation. But sometimes maturing is realizing, no, I don't have to do that. And it takes me back to 2023 and I was getting ready to graduate. And this is where my response became more strategic. I told you before, I'm in the club with my friends. We're getting ready to graduate. The next day, I accidentally stepped on a brother's shoe in the dance floor. He looked at me and said, "Hey, bro, you stepped in my shoe." I paused.
Yeah. Let me think about this.
Yeah, I said, "My bad, brother. Let me buy you a drink." His whole demeanor changed.
Yep.
And as we're sitting down and talking, I'm like, yeah, I'm out with the family celebrating, get ready to graduate. He's like, oh, you finna, man, let me get you a drink, bro. It changed the whole dynamic.
Yep.
So my response time, I don't care about being quick with my response. I don't care about being the first one to be understood. I don't care about being the first one to be the most right. No, I'll let me listen. Let me take a minute. Let me pause. Let me be strategic with how I respond so I can get the best outcome. So I think maturing is learning that your response time can change and you're slower to respond, and also you're more strategic in your response.
That's good. Because I think the common misconception that you have about being a leader and being mature as a man, right? We picture this domineering force that wills everything to be a certain way when he wants it, right? But sometimes you have to know that what you want may not be what's best.
100%.
You may have wanted to say, okay, and when you stepped on old boy's shoe, you may have wanted to say, oh, okay, what you gonna do about it? You could have felt that temperature and said, I'm gonna match this temperature.
Yeah.
right? But instead you said, let me calm this situation. Let me respond in a way that's effective. It's not about necessarily what I want, but it's about what's best
Yeah.
in this situation. That's the strategy of it. What is best for this situation? What's best for my family? What's best for my finances? What's best for my faith walk?
Yeah.
Right? Immaturity will have you doing what you want to do, and you'll go get it immediately. You're operating off a whim. Well, I'm struggling right now, so I got to do something to cope.
Yeah.
I'm struggling right now, so I got to do something to get my fix.
Yeah.
I'm not getting the acceptance. I feel unseen. I haven't been touched. I haven't XYZ. So now I got to go out tonight.
Yeah.
I got to go flirt. I got to go spin.
Yeah.
I got to go eat something that's unhealthy for me, because you need to scratch an itch. You need to scratch a need. That's immaturity.
Yeah.
Maturity is saying, I know that if I do respond this way, while it may feel good in the moment, in the long run, this is going to strategically hurt me.
100%. And the same way with Christ, and the same way with relationships. Maturing is realizing that God's response time may not always be what you want it to be.
So good, Rex. Talk about it, bro.
Right? There may be seasons where he's responding expeditiously. Like you're praying for something and immediately you get it. Then there may be seasons where you're praying for something, you may not see fruit in it for months.
Man.
It may not even be a year. I remember 2020 when I'm making my drive to Houston, God gave me downloads of certain things I would be in, certain places certain things I was going to say, but he didn't give me the win. I didn't experience it to come to fruition until 4 years later.
Yep.
So it's maturing is realizing even God's response time is different. And then when you think about the context of the relationships, right? Your response time to your partner needs to slow down, right? And not every situation your wife wants to attack you. Not every situation your husband wants to attack you. Not everything makes it offensive, right? So sometimes when you take the time to slow down, to listen, to ask more questions, to be more strategic with how you react and how you respond, you could change a whole dynamic of a relationship. And I give you the most simple example. One of my clients says, Rex, well, every single time my partner says this, I feel a certain type of way. And I said, okay, so after we worked through a whole bunch of different communication tools that I gave you guys last week, I said, this is something I want you to try. When you find yourself becoming overwhelmed and outside your window tolerance, I want you to say this. Hey, babe, to be honest, I'm feeling attacked right now. And before I say something I regret, say something that may hurt you, or do something that I can't take back, can I have a few minutes to myself? And I said, cut things off for a second.
For real.
And not to leave her hanging, manipulate, none of those things. It's truly to take a step away, to get your mind right so that you can listen from a different perspective versus listening to respond, not listening to understand. And he was like, bro, I'm gonna give it a shot. And when he came back in, he was like, that actually helped us slow things down. And when I came back, she apologized for how had responded to me. And I was able to apologize as well. And I was like, bro, there it is.
Boy, that leads perfectly into my next point.
Right, let's do it.
Perfectly. Maturity brings multiplication and duplication. Immaturity brings subtraction and division.
Talk about it.
See, when we think about maturity from a physical aspect, I'm going to use a physical example and I'm going to translate it to everything else. So when you reach physical maturity, 13, 14, 15 years old, what can you do now? You can reproduce.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can reproduce.
Yeah.
You can have children, right? But what does that look like in other areas of life? Because you don't necessarily, just because you reach physical maturity at 13, 14, doesn't mean you reach mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relational maturity.
Yep.
Right? So let's break down those other areas. When you reach a level of maturity emotionally, goes back to what you were just talking about, you can create emotional stability in your sphere of influence. Right? So just like in the example you just gave, because he took a step back and said, hey, let's pause this real quick because I'm getting a little worked up and I don't want this to go down the wrong path. It had not just an effect on him to be emotionally mature and calm down, but she was able to calm down and she came back and she apologized. Yep. But before he even apologized, she came back and apologized.
Yep.
That maturity, it brings more maturity, right? When you talk about mental maturity, it can bring and create a peace of mind in your circle.
Yeah.
Right? When you're the person that's hanging and when everybody's having these crazy thoughts and you're sitting there, you standing there in your own peaceful mind, it makes everybody else check themselves and be like, why are we overreacting so much?
Yeah.
Why are we responding so irrational? It makes people ask the question, Rex, you don't have nothing to say about this? Now, when it's time for you to speak,
Yeah.
you create a whole different environment. You shift the entire atmosphere around you. It makes everybody realize we're tripping over nothing.
Yeah.
Mental maturity takes place, right? Spiritual maturity. Once you reach a level of spiritual maturity, your responsibility biblically is to then go disciple others.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Go therefore and make disciples of all nations.
Yeah.
Right? But in order for them to go disciple, what did they have to do? They had to be discipled. The 12 had to be discipled. They had to be built to a level of maturity so that they could go multiply and duplicate what they were in other people.
Yep.
Right? Financially. When you reach a place of financial maturity, you can lend to others and you can guide others into financial freedom.
100%.
Right? Now you become the person that when people need it or they got a business idea, it's not, hey, here you go. Because now I'm at a place where I can give.
Yep.
Maturity allows you to duplicate and multiply.
Yeah.
Finally, relational maturity. When you're the people in that circle or in your age group or on the socials, whatever that people look at, and you have a level of relational maturity, you now become the example and you become the wisdom for other people. Now people are calling upon you and your lady, how should we respond to this? How do we deal with this circumstance? And you can duplicate what's in you and create more maturity in other people. Maturity multiplies and it duplicates. Immaturity divides and it subtracts. It creates more chaos.
Oh, that's so powerful. And I think you broke it down so smooth and so eloquently that I don't think anybody could misunderstand that.
I hope not.
And
somebody will find a way. Somebody will find a way.
And I think that's so good because one of my next ones is you stop entertaining things that are meaningless. Right? But when it comes to relational side of things, prolonged meaningless conversations you don't want to be a part of anymore.
It's good.
Right? Surface level friendships, you no longer want to be a part of them anymore. Being at jobs where you've outgrown or underappreciated, you no longer want to be there anymore, right? Having a lukewarm relationship with Christ, you no longer want to have that anymore. You want to elevate in every single space that you're in. You want to multiply everything that you are doing. You no longer are okay with being where you've always been. Even in your relationship, if you notice that there's a season where y'all have been doing the same things, the same conversations, you start looking at it like, hey, what are we doing? This is where we are. This is where I see us going. I think but we've been stuck here for so long. And when you feel stuck in one area, you most likely may be stuck in many other areas. So like, if there's no multiplication, then you know that you're doing something wrong. I think, that's very powerful. You said maturity is multiplying.
Yep. And duplicating.
If you're not seeing growth in the areas where you are financially, relationally, spiritually, emotionally, even with your kids, you are not doing something right.
Come on.
So I guess maturity is understanding and acknowledging that you are the problem.
Come on. That's good. Come on. At the root of it all,
you are the problem.
Because what happens, bro, if you try to multiply a negative by a positive, what happens? You get a negative.
Yeah. 100%.
Right? So you're the problem.
Yeah.
And you're trying to multiply, do some positive things, but you got issues.
Yeah.
You just gonna multiply negativity around all the people around you.
Yeah.
And the reality of it is, until you cannot call yourself a leader until you can recreate you and somebody else.
That's powerful.
Real talk. You
powerful.
cannot be considered a leader, cannot be trusted as a leader until you can duplicate you and somebody else. If I went through my lust, right, and I've come out on the other side of it, if I can't help somebody else walk through that process, I'm not ready yet. I may be at a place where it's like, hey, I've come to a certain level, right, but I'm not mature yet. I don't need to be in certain spaces, right. I don't need to be in certain environments because I'm not mature enough to go get the lost yet. I need to still have somebody kind of making sure they're walking me through this. But once you reach a level of maturity, you are now the type of person that can go get somebody that was once where you were, and you can walk them through whatever circumstance they're in.
That's so good. And that connects me to Level of maturity brings forth a certain level of understanding and wisdom that comes from your experiences that God put you in,
Yeah.
right? And the example that you just used is perfect. If you've walked through lust, you've learned how not necessarily defeat temptation, because you're going to see the temptation
sure.
on a consistent basis, but you no longer try to fight it.
Mhm.
You're no longer trying to justify it or make excuses for it, and you realize that I need to be connected to God. I need to have an escape route. I need to make sure I have my accountability partners, and to make sure I stay connected and talk to my wife. I need a way of expressing myself, so I'm not using I'm not wasting my energy doing things that are unwanted. Then I put myself in a lot better position to teach it to somebody else.
Absolutely.
So then when they're walking through, so Rex, how did you, and you say, well, I did X, Y, and Z, and you get to see where they are.
Yep.
Are they on step 1 or are they on step 4?
Exactly.
What else do they need to be added?
Yes.
So that's actually really
That's
good.
good, bro. Maturity allows you to discern where another person is in the process.
Yep, because you've seen it in yourself.
You've seen it in yourself, so you know how to go back to it. How can you say you're mature if you can't go back to the different stages that somebody else is in and say, that's immaturity right there?
Yeah.
I know where you're at. You're in pride. I know because I was in it.
Yeah.
Oh, I know you're in rebellion. I
Yeah.
know because I was in it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of things are going to look the same on the surface.
Yeah.
If you're just paying attention to the surface level actions, it's going to look the same, but you might misdiagnose when you aren't mature.
100%.
Right? If you're a provider in healthcare and your job is to diagnose different things, what happens when people are showing up and they have runny nose, they got sore throat, they got XYZ? You could call it the common cold.
Yeah.
It might be the flu.
Yeah.
It might be early onset pneumonia or whatever it is. Maturity allows you to see what's lying beneath the surface.
Yeah.
You ask a different question.
Yeah.
You can discern something different in that person and say, no, because a common cold wouldn't do this.
Yeah.
You don't have a common cold.
Yeah.
You have this problem. And you can effectively diagnose, and then you can therefore effectively treat.
Yeah, 100%.
What needs to be treated so that person can get back to health. When you're mature, your discernment go up.
Yep. Man, that's.
Well, we just get a revelation on the spot, dog.
But it's a beautiful thing, and it's very necessary. And if you don't mind, I want to say one more point.
Yeah, let's get it.
As a person, here we go. When maturity happens when a man stops blaming other people for his failed relationships and starts to take a closer look at himself.
Yeah.
Right. And this happened to me in 2022. Rex, you've been in 5 relationships, right? None of them got to the point of marriage, engagement, or even cohabitation. None of them got to the point where you're sharing finances. None of them got to the point where you was emotionally regulated. None of them got to the point where you were able to accept constructive criticism. None of them got to the point where you were leading properly. None of them got to the point where your words were in complete alignment with your actions. You are the common denominator, Rex.
Mm.
What are you going to do about that?
Man.
Yes, I have options. Yes, I can go out here and choose. But do I want to continue to choose when I know I'm not the person? when I know I'm not ready to lead.
Yeah.
So maturity is realizing that, okay, if I am the problem, how can I go get the solution to the problem?
Yeah.
Who do I need to be connected to make sure I'm no longer the problem?
Yeah.
Who do I need to be connected to make sure that I am multiplying in areas where I was either dividing or being subtracted in by making the same decisions over and over again, repeating the same patterns?
Man.
So yeah, maturity is realizing that, like, you got to stop blaming other people for where you failed, for who failed you, and you have to start taking ownership and responsibility for what you did.
Man, that's so good. And we make a big fuss online and in conversations about choose better.
Yeah.
And that's an important element.
100%.
But how about this? Sometimes it's not choose better, it's be better. Sometimes it's not choose better, it's be better. Like, it's you.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not the person that you chose. They probably had their issues, but guess what? You chose them because you yourself were off.
Yep.
The reason why they even got through the door and they were attractive to you was because there were things in you that needed to die that have not yet died. And so the more we spend time talking about choosing better, we keep being immature because we want to keep pushing the onus of the problems we faced in relationships or in any area of our life. We keep putting it on other people. Oh, I chose this girl and I knew I shouldn't have been with her. She went through and she ran my pockets.
Yep.
Nah, bro, you got an acceptance issue.
Yep.
Right? That's you. You're going to have that same problem with a girl that's financially savvy and don't run your pockets.
Yep.
You have an acceptance issue when she don't every single day compliment you about X, Y, Z, and you're going to be ready to walk out on her.
Yeah.
The issue's going to keep showing up because you.
Yep.
Right? Men and women, we always talking about choose better. Sometimes be better. And when you get to a place of maturity, be better is the first place you start. What did I do?
Yeah.
Where did I go wrong? What's the thing you had to ask yourself? I want you to go back to that journal entry.
Yeah.
If I can't, come on, tell them.
Yeah, if I couldn't blame anybody else for why my relationships failed, how did I finish it?
If I couldn't blame anybody else
Yes.
for how my relationships failed, what would I say about
What would I say about myself? I wrote 4 pages. Bro, I wrote 4 pages. And something else to add to your point, it says, don't just choose better, be better. I said, God just gave me this. When you become better, the people you choose who aren't on your level will expose or tell on themselves.
It's an automatic filter, bro. That's what people don't get.
Yep.
I'm gonna let you go before I get into it. Go.
You'll hear, oh, I ain't never had a man like you before.
Red flag.
Yeah. Hey,
why?
No, 100%. Oh man, ain't nobody's ever read like this. Nobody's ever done this. Like, I'm not ready for a person like you. People that aren't on your level, when you start choosing better, will expose themselves. And then you will have the opportunity to know if you're supposed to be in it or not.
Absolutely.
I don't think that, this is going to be a hot take. I don't think it's healthy to be in a relationship with people who've never experienced anything that you present.
Man.
Because they don't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
They don't know how to steward it. They don't even know how to receive it. In my experience, they're the ones that self-sabotage the most. They don't believe they deserve it. And if a person they don't believe that they deserve you, they believe that you're too much better than them, then what you see as love, they see as competition.
Oh. Say it again, bro. When they don't, say it again.
What you see as love, they see as competition. So like, and even in my experiences, anytime I've heard somebody say, I've never done X, Y, and Z, I've never had X, Y, and Z. And I'm not saying that, okay, you finally buy your lady some flowers. She say, okay, I've never had a man buy me some flowers. Okay, it's certain things, right? But when it comes to somebody's never having a safe space, somebody never having somebody that was intellectual, somebody never having a person that led in the right direction, somebody never had a person that really cared for them. Like, when you become the first, there's a lot of weight for the first of anything that you do. And you have to be very intentional about stewarding that relationship, and also very mindful of their patterns, because once again, they could be competing with you. They could be feeling like they're not good enough. They could feel like they don't deserve it. And if anybody doesn't feel like they're not good enough, that they don't deserve it, they will find a way to self-sabotage that thing. You may find yourself with somebody that needs extra reassurance because of those things. And it's like, wait a minute, I'm telling you I love you. I'm telling you, I'm showing you that I'm here. What more do you need from me? That thing, that person, that relationship could truly tear you down and make you feel like you're crazy, when the whole time it's a capacity thing.
Yeah.
It's a maturity thing.
I say it's an immaturity thing.
Exactly.
The person is in immaturity. And it's not because necessarily they force themselves there. They just haven't been exposed to it.
Exactly.
They don't know no better. So they're immature in it. But that's why it goes back to the point. Everything you just said just goes originally back to maturity, because maturity will bring you the discernment to be able to say within yourself and about this person. One, when they're saying these things, what is it that I'm going to be signing up for if I get in this with them? Are they capable of growth? Do I see that they're a person that wants to grow in other areas of their life? Maybe they're just immature relationally, but who they are as a person, they can do this thing. Okay, it can bleed, it can grow. But if you look at them and you say, discernment is telling me I'm going to end up having to be this person's babysitter. I'm going to end up having to be the person that's responsible for every area of this person's growth because they don't take any accountability. So then I'm going to be carrying dead weight. They're not a partner. They're like a weight in my back. There's a difference. And then maturity also has you look at yourself and say, what things are in me? Because some of you, even for me, I know that I was attracted to brokenness. because I love being needed.
Yeah. Mm.
So because I knew how to quote unquote heal and say the right things and make a person feel good about themselves, I got attracted to a lot of broken women, bro.
Yeah.
My dad told me one time, he said, you know, every woman you ever dated got daddy issues.
Yeah.
Dad told me this probably was like my freshman, sophomore year of college. Like every woman you dated, they got daddy issues. Why is that? I didn't understand it then.
Yeah.
But when you're in maturity and you don't recognize what's inside of you, you'll even be attracted to the very things that are causing your downfall.
Yeah, 100%.
So when you get to maturity, you recognize these things. Even within my relationship with Diamond, it's like, yo, there are certain aspects of her that may need some growth, right? Just like there are aspects of me that still need some growth. But in my maturity, I can discern when those areas are showing up. And now I can lean on understanding and wisdom to say, how do I address this? Because in the past, I got to argue this. I got to convince her. Now, part of maturity says, don't say nothing, Miles. Just let time show it.
Yeah, 100%.
Because time will solve some problems within your relationship or with a person that you never could solve.
Yeah.
You could argue this up and down, but let time show who was right about this situation,
100%.
whose advice was on point, who was giving the right wisdom in the circumstance. Let them walk this out and see how it plays out for them.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's, okay, Miles, in the past you were going to argue, let's take a softer approach. Let's take a roundabout approach. Let's do this in a strategic way. When we address this, let's not just jump off the hip and say this, Miles. Like, let's sit down. Let's make sure the environment is right. Let's make sure she's 8.
Yeah, no, 100%.
We're on good terms. Everything is good. Let's have the conversation in a good season. Let's not have this conversation in the middle of the fight. There's going to be a bad time to bring up some tough things in the middle of the bad situation.
100%.
Have that tough conversation in a good time.
Yeah.
Wow. See how much understanding and how it comes?
100%.
Maturity allows you to discern them, allows you to discern yourself, and it helps you guys to be able to say, do I need to be in this? Do I need to sign up for this? With all the things I got going on, should I be dating this person?
Yeah.
All that stuff comes from maturity.
Man, that's absolutely amazing, dog.
Man.
All right, I think you're up.
Yep. So maturity. A mature man, he looks at boundaries and rules as protection, correction, and respect.
Talk about it.
Immaturity is going to view it as control.
Correction, protection, and respect.
Yep.
Immaturity is control.
Immaturity is going to, I'm going to give you a story. When I had to be about 20, 21 years old. I've been out at school in Nashville at Fisk, man. We party all the time. I'm taking care of business. I still got good grades, all this stuff. But you come home for the summers. Come home for winter break. But when I come home, I want to kick it and go out with my guys that aren't at college with me. So I'll go out. My dad had been told me, like, man, make sure you come back at a decent hour, right? And I think at that time, he had said the time was like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m., something like that.
Which is very reasonable.
Very reasonable. Very reasonable. Because he wanted me to be able to go have my fun. I ain't look at it that way, though, right? First time, circumstance happened. I got in like 1:45. I was supposed to be back at 1. I said, Miles, I told you. You need to come in at a decent hour. Second time, I'm like, all right, bet. I'm going to get back right at 1, right? So, in immaturity, I leave the club. We're headed out, but we're leaving exactly the amount of time it takes to get back. Of course, it never goes exactly as planned. I walk in the door like 1:10, 1:15. Now we're having an argument. Confrontation as they see that I've already told you this, right? Respect my home. Third time, and I remember because it was my birthday. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to make sure I do my thing. I'm going to get up out of here. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to leave at like 5 minutes early. So that way I got a little leeway. Immaturity, it's New Year's night. My birthday's on New Year's.
Yeah.
They shut down the highway.
Yep.
So we're down to one lane. I text my mom. I didn't want to text my dad. I text my mom like, hey, we left at X amount of time, but we're going to be late because it's traffic. Man, I knew by the response it was finna go down. Man, I walk up in that house at like 1:10, 1:15. Man, it's on. Me and my dad going back and forth about this situation. And I'm sitting there going back and forth, and I'm like, bro, you just trying to control me. I'm like, bro, I get straight A's. You don't have to worry about me. I'm on a full ride scholarship. I don't cause no problems. Why are you so gun-ho about this situation, bro? And my dad is looking at it like, I've set an expectation.
Yeah.
Right? This is my home.
Yeah.
These are my rules.
Yeah.
On top of the fact that parents be paranoid when their child is out
100%.
late at night. They don't go to sleep. I didn't recognize that at that time. Parents don't sleep well when their child is out. But in my immaturity, I looked at his respect as his protection, at his correction. I looked at all of it as immaturity.
Yeah.
When I got more mature, it was funny because my sister was the one who matured me. She called me and my mom had told her about the situation, about how we was about to fight and all this stuff. My sister said, you know, Miles, life would be a lot easier for you if you just followed the rules that he was saying. Like if you just did what he said, you realize you wouldn't have no issues. And as simple as that sounds, that was so hard for me to get until she said it.
Yeah.
From that day forward, I'm like, why don't I just do what he asked me to do? And then we won't have no problems.
Yes. Yeah.
But because I was immature,
Yeah.
I looked at my father's rules, protection, and correction as control. I rebelled against that because who finna control me?
Yeah.
Who finna tell me what I can do? I handle my business.
I'm a grown man.
I'm a grown man. Nah, you're immature. You're far from grown. So yeah, and that's life for you. Immature men, we look at all those boundaries, right? Your woman saying, hey, you don't have no boundaries when it comes to the women in your life. You don't have any boundaries when it comes to, what you're doing on social media. You don't protect this relationship. Or when she shows up to correct you about something that you need to be corrected on, or when your homeboys tell you, hey man, that ain't it. What you doing ain't it. You really failing financially. Why are you out here spending all this money? You know you got children at home to feed.
Yeah.
Why are we spending $600 on bottles when you was just hollering at me last month to help you pay rent?
Yeah.
Right? You'll look at all these things as somebody trying to check you, somebody trying to control you. Now you got to puff up your chest. Why? Because you're immature.
Yeah.
There you go.
Man, that's so good. Just the thought of going to college and living the college life. You know, you go out, you can be as late as you want to, and then you're going to still make it to 8 a.m. Or maybe you don't.
Yep.
Right? You go make it to the calf, or maybe you don't.
Maybe you don't.
Right? You go kick it with your friends. Like, you prioritize what you want to prioritize. So once you get a taste of independence and then you come back home, you think you've grown. I can do this. I can do this, right? So that immaturity shows up, and the lack of maturity shows up when you think you're grown, when you think you're ready for something that you're not. When like I said, in my family, a lot of people have kids early, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm thinking I'm supposed to be a teenage dad.
Man.
Everybody else doing it, I can do it. Rex, what? You don't see and experience the struggle that people got to go through. So, like, you always think when you're operating in immaturity, you think that you're ready for things that you have no idea what's on the other side.
That's so good, Rex. You gave me something when you started talking about that independence. Don't confuse independence with maturity. Just because you have the freedom to do now what you want to do, whether that's financial freedom to do what you want to do, relational freedom to do what you want to do, mental and emotional freedom to do what you want to do, spiritual freedom to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Just because you have the freedom, the independence to choose what it is that you want to do and when it is and how it is that you want to do it, that does not make you mature.
Yeah.
What makes you mature is what you do with that independence.
Yeah.
Now that you have the freedom to do these things, you're going to show very quickly to yourself and to the world, you're going to show very quickly how mature or immature you are. My dad used to always say, he said, your freedom in this household is like a leash when you're growing up. When you don't pay your own bills and you're in this household, your freedom is like a leash. And so when you show me, when I give you a little bit of rope and you show me that you can handle it, I'll give you more rope. But when you show me that with the little bit I gave you, I can't trust you, now I got to reel you back in and you don't get as much leeway and as much freedom. It's what you do. A lot of times when you start feeling mature because you got independence. Nah, sometimes life just going to give you independence. Sometimes God going to put you in some free will, free thinking situations where you know what, you're going to do whatever that's why he gave it to you. So that you can see by the consequences of your actions, whether I am who I think I am or whether I really not. Don't confuse independence with maturity. That's one of the biggest mistakes you can make as a man.
Man, that's good. That's good. Okay, let's keep this bad boy rolling, man. Maturity happens when a man stops trying to be his own God and starts allowing God to lead him. Right?
My God.
When you are willing, because Miles said earlier, when you're willing to be led, right? But when you're willing to surrender, when you're willing to give it up, give it away, when you're willing to acknowledge the fact that in your own flesh, in your own might, in your own will, you don't have it. And you don't have enough. You can't do it. You won't do it. You can't fight temptation. You don't know what to do with all this money, right? You may take the money and say, okay, I finally hit my first meal. It's time to buy houses and properties. But God may say, I need you to take care and so,
Yep.
right? I need you to give so and so. I need you to build. I need you to create programs or build a school. But you're thinking for yourself. You're thinking about the newest cars. You think about how you can promote this on social media so everybody can
Man.
see you flexed up, right? But so when you stop trying to be your own God, right? You can step out of selfishness. You can step out of pride. You can step out of ego. Somebody can give you constructive criticism. Somebody can rebuke you. Your wife can tell you about yourself and you'll be able to receive it. Right. But when you're not surrendered, you're not giving it to God, like you believe that every single one of your problems you have to have a solution for.
Man.
You believe that your prayers are just to have conversation and not you like communicate with God and let him know that you need this, that you know that he's the only one that can fix it because you don't have the power to on your own. So when you stop trying to be your own God, that's a certain level of spiritual maturity, and you start allowing God to lead you, your life, your family, your actions, your decisions, and your heart.
That's so good, bro. And I want to hit on that a little bit deeper because we talk about surrender, and I hear a lot of people saying, so I'm not supposed to feel what it is that I feel. So when my wife correct me, I'm just supposed to take it and it's going to be easy. That means I'm not surrendered? No. Surrendering was never meant to be easy.
Yeah.
It does not mean that it's not going to be difficult for you to surrender. But surrendering is like a yield sign.
Yeah.
Right? I yield myself to the right of way of what God is saying to do.
Yeah.
I yield what I'm feeling. Doesn't mean you don't feel it. When you get to a yield and you pull up to it, it doesn't mean you have to come to a complete stop.
Yeah.
But it means you got to look both ways and make sure this is the right time to move. And if it is, and you get the green light, you get the, okay, we're clear, then you can go with it. I got to yield my emotions. So before I act on these feelings, it doesn't mean I'm not feeling them. It means, God, I'm feeling this way. This is difficult. But Lord, what is it that I'm supposed to do? And God can tell you, it's okay for you to give in to the way you feel right now in this circumstance. It's okay for you to feel grief. Grieve it. I will comfort you, right? But it's not okay for you to operate in anger, right? This isn't the time for that, right? It's a yielding. It's a yielding of what it is that you feel. So no, it's not going to be easy to surrender. But when you reach a level of maturity that you realize, like Greg said, that you don't got it, you got to understand, if I want the best outcome from these circumstances, it cannot be my way.
Yeah.
Because every time I did it my way, my immaturity got in the way.
Every single time.
The most mature thing I can do is to operate in wisdom, which is to follow the wisdom of God.
100%. Every single time.
That's good, bro.
What you got next, brother?
Man, so my last point, man. A mature man doesn't have to keep being reminded of the expectation. When you reach a certain level of maturity, certain things become innate. Certain things become a standard. Certain things just become a character trait of yours to where this is who I am. It gets a part of your identity, right? I'll use an example. Let's use finances. If you're coming out of financial illiteracy, if you're coming from brokenness, if you're coming from poverty, if you're coming from a space where you've never seen financial stability, then you start making money. You might have some wealth, but you're still immature financially because you don't know what to do with it. So you start doing the right things. Let me get some financial literacy books. Let me learn some stuff. And you learn about pay yourself first, which is the rule that out of every single dollar that I make, 10% of it is mine to keep.
Yeah.
So before I pay any bills, before I send anybody some money, before I go out, before I buy something, I give myself 10% to put in my savings, and that's mine to keep. So at the beginning of that, you're going to have to continuously remind yourself consciously the expectation, pay yourself first.
Yeah.
Every time I get this check, let me take this 10% out and make sure I do it. Right? You're going to have to watch yourself closely because the expectation has not been set into you yet. You're still immature.
Yep.
But after a while, when you've been doing it long enough, when you've submitted to this rule being a part of your life long enough, what ends up happening is it becomes an expectation that is set in stone.
Yeah.
Now I don't have to think, pay myself first. As soon as that check hit, I don't even look at it as the full amount. I know 90% of it is there. 10% of it don't even count.
Yep.
It's a part of my mindset. If you give me $100, I'm already thinking, oh, let me put this money to the side.
Yeah.
right? 10 of that got to sit over there. If you give me $1 million, this money got to get parked. But if you are in immaturity, what happens is somebody got to keep reminding you. Somebody got to keep telling you the expectation. Babe, I've told you it's Tuesday. You know the trash is coming. Trash man's coming out. Can you please put the trash out?
Yep.
But when you reach a level of maturity, you already know, man, trash come on Tuesdays, man.
Yep.
Let me go on and get up Monday night, set this doggone garbage can out, right? And it's gonna happen. You're gonna forget things. It charges to my heart, not my head, or charges to my head, not my heart. However people say it.
Yeah.
But the reality of it is, in many areas of life, the reason why you have to keep being reminded of it is because you're not mature enough to where this has become an expectation that you are submitted to.
And that shows up in everything.
Yeah.
And because we're talking to men, and we're talking to husbands, this shows up in your marriage. He gave the perfect example of the trash can. He gave the perfect example of how it shows up in marriage. So there's going to be times when the expectation is for you to watch your kids when your wife is asleep. There's going to be expectations for you to pick up the dishes if your wife is too tired or if she cooked. There's going to be expectation for you to fill up the gas tank before she goes out because, she has a tendency to go to the wrong ones or be in the wrong location or just be unaware of her environment. It's going to be expectation for you to steward the money in the right type of way. So when the bills come, there's no fear or worry or anxiety about, are we going to be good? Because you've managed it.
Yep.
But immaturity says, once I get this check, I'm trying to buy some shoes versus paying the bill.
Yep.
Immaturity says, oh, my wife, she sleep right now, but when she wake up, she can get the laundry, she can do the dishes instead of me just taking this to do it myself. So, man, that's actually really good.
It's real, bro. And I mean, I think that a piece of that with maturity, and you kind of hit on it earlier, but a big piece of maturity is being a proactive thinker, bro, instead of a reactive thinker. And I think that that's one of the most pivotal pieces of it is a lot of times we just operate in haste that doesn't have to be there, bro. We have anxiety about things that we really could have controlled had we just been proactive.
Yep.
I'm gonna give y'all something. I shouldn't even tell y'all boys this right now because y'all gonna mess up my plans. I'm gonna give y'all some game. All right, and this clip go viral, I'm actually be kind of mad. The Super Bowl and Valentine's Day are on the same day this year. I just had a conversation with Diamond yesterday about this. I said, baby, we're gonna have to figure something out about how we're gonna do this.
Yeah.
Right? Well, we're going to prioritize if you're okay with us doing something on Friday or Saturday, XYZ, right? But whatever we're going to do, if we're going to focus on Valentine's Day, we're going to still do it on Valentine's Day. Cool. We just need to be on the same page because I got my desires. You got your desires.
100%.
We need to be on the same page. But I told her we need to figure out what we're going to do soon. And the reason why is because I'm calling restaurants now. How early can you book reservations?
Yeah.
Okay, 90 days out. On the 90th day out, I'll be calling them to book it because what I know is what's going to happen is when it comes to Super Bowl, when we get a month out, 2 weeks out, everybody's going to have that last second rush.
Yeah.
They're going to be trying to book up places, but because Super Bowl Sunday is going on and nobody wants to go on Valentine's Day, that means Friday and Saturday are going to be way more packed.
Yeah.
There's going to be way less options. So I'm already thinking ahead because I got to get us in. I don't want us having to eat Valentine's dinner at 3 p.m. Or at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
I want us that prime time window. So what does that mean? I got to be proactive. And also I said, Dami, you have never had to have a thought in your head about whether Valentine's Day was last minute, whether Valentine's Day was kind of like uncared for and just something I threw together. Why do you think that is?
Yeah.
Because I'm proactive.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking about things ahead of time. So whenever I see a bump in the road that's a year out, let's start planning for it now. Okay, such said they're having a wedding, start putting $50 to the side every single paycheck.
Yeah.
So that way when we're 2-3 months out and it's time to do some things, if we haven't already saved up everything, at least it's not going to hit our pockets as heavy. Yeah. It doesn't feel as serious when you've prepared ahead of time. Maturity as a man is starting to become proactive instead of reactive.
Man, that's good. That's too good, dog. And before we run out of time, I'm gonna hit my very last point.
Okay, bro, I thought you was done. My fault.
No, you good. Like when the spirit flows, it flows. So I appreciate everything that you said. And he really just gave y'all game on this Super Bowl thing.
What?
Good thing I'm not a Super Bowl fan, so I don't care.
You good. You good.
Yeah. But truly be proactive because when you wait till last minute, you're not going to get the reservation. Now you're going to try to look for a restaurant that got the TVs in it, and now you're not fully present because you're focused on the game and not focused on your partner.
Yep.
And it's going to waste the whole night.
Yep.
So my last point, man is mature when a man begins to care less about the opinions of the world and begins to focus more on what God says about him.
Talk about it.
right? So let's talk about a few things that God does say about you, just in case you didn't know, or just in case you need to be reminded, right? You were made in his image and his likeness, right? You are a chosen nation. You are a royal priesthood. You are the head and not the tail. You are above and not beneath. What did he say? Greater is he that's in you than the he that's in the world, right? You are a priest of your home. You are God's handiwork, created in Christ to do good works. Not only will you do great things, you have the power to do even greater things in he. So if you remember these things, you will stop being so focused on what somebody says about what you can and cannot do, even what your wife says about what you can and cannot do. And you will be reminded that this is what God has said about me. If he is my creator, if he's the person that provided for me, if he's the person that put these things in me, he's the one that's going to let me know what my potential is. And if he is saying you can do all of these things and you're made in his image and he made this world in 7 days, let's just imagine what you can do. So when you find yourself thinking small, when you find yourself thinking in lack, when you find yourself worrying about everything, when you find yourself not knowing how you're going to provide or how you're going to make this money, turn to him. When you find yourself feeling insecure about yourself, you're not feeling confident in who you are in your job or who you are in your family, who you are as a father, as a husband, as a wife, as a leader, as a daughter, as a son, literally turn to him and go to his word and say, what does God say about me? And how does that compare to what I say about myself? And I say this to my clients all the time. When you think about what people say, when you think about what you say, and when you think about what God says, which one becomes the most powerful? It's whichever one you choose to believe. So if I'm choosing to believe and deciding to believe that God's word is law, right? Then that's what's going to be my thing. And that's what's going to build a mature woman, a mature man, a mature son, a mature daughter, a mature husband, or mature wife. And that's exactly what we want for you on this podcast.
Great, brother. That's amazing, man. This is an amazing episode, right?
It just keeps getting better.
Y'all understand maturity is a process, right? And it's a never ending process. You have never arrived at full maturity in every area of your life. There will always be areas of growth. So stay encouraged, fellas. This is not meant to be a condemning episode. It's meant to be a revelation episode. It's meant to be an uplifting episode, an exposure episode. Because now that you're aware and now that you can self-evaluate, you can grow, man. And that's a beautiful thing, man. It opened up my eyes to things in me. I'm sure it opened up Rex's eyes to things in him. We are constantly growing and constantly maturing. We're just grateful for you all. So Rex, tell the people where they can find you.
Absolutely. It's your boy Rex Howard Jr., the relationship and sex therapist. You can find me at resolvecc.com if you want to book a session with me. Lately, I've recently got my first clients from Ghana. Right, I got clients in Miami, got clients in the Virgin Islands. I got clients all across the U.S. and starting to become in different countries. So if you want to reach me, go to resolvecc.com, book a session with me for counseling and psychotherapy if you're in the state of Texas, and you'll book a coaching call if you're outside the state of Texas. And then if you want to find me on social media for day-to-day content, developing a man, tips for husbands, things that women can use as well, you can go to IamRexHowardJr.com and let's network.
He got his own website now. You ain't talking about that.
Oh, no. I'm so sorry. I am Rex Howard Jr. on Instagram and other sites. I am RexHowardJr.com is on the way.
Okay, copy. Man, I'm Miles the Millennial. Man, y'all know if you need a message that not only motivates, but that matures, right? Matures your students, matures your faculty and staff, your coworkers, and your team. I want you to go to www.milesthemillennial.com. That's Miles with a Y. And I want you to submit a booking form so that we can get on a call, discuss the areas of immaturity, the areas of growth, the areas that need upliftment, and we can craft a custom keynote or custom workshop to come in and really be able to give language, clarity, and vision to what your team or organization needs to go to the next level. It's maturity around here, y'all.
Yep.
So we will catch y'all next week. We appreciate you so much. Peace.